Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the January 28th Raw review. Now, this is the time of the year that a lot of people pretty much enjoy Raw because they do a little gimmick that we enjoy, and that is Raw Roulette. Now, this time, Vicky was the MC of it. I always liked Booker T. When he did it last year, he just did it. He just had the attitude that was perfect for Raw Roulette. Vicky doesn't. She doesn't give it off, but she still did what she had to do. Now, I'm not doing this in order. The first thing I want to talk about is the new inductee of the WWE Hall of Fame. Now we know that Mick Foley's in it. They fucked that up. They fucked up the chance for Mick Foley to talk so well. They did better with Mr. Bob Backlund. Yes, the great man who has the cross-faced chicken wing, baby, who is one of the best men in the WWE. But now they brought somebody in that I really believe deserve it. Mistress Stratus. Women's champion, 7-time. One of the best divas that we had since the Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young. For me personally, I always liked Mae Young, but Fabulous Moolah was always the one I enjoyed the most. There have been many women wrestlers over the years, but these two people, Fabulous Moolah and Trish Stratus, have been the best. And now Trish is now going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Good. This was a good decision on the WWE's part. I really believe this. It doesn't mean she can't still wrestle. Of course, she's going to probably wrestle and wiggle her ass everywhere. Who doesn't love Trish's ass? She looked good. But I'm very happy to see they did a very good video package on her. And I'm glad that she's going to be inducted. Now, most of the night was very Raw Roulette heavy. We had some really shitty matches. Let's be honest. The Sheamus and the Damien Sandow match was shit. There was no point for it. The Cody and Cena match was shit. There was no point in it. Sheamus got his ass kicked after the segment of Cena deciding who he wanted to face. If they had just mixed it up and let Cena go after ADR, maybe we would have had some interest. Actually, people would be very shocked to see him go after ADR, but we know he is going to do that. Really? But I'm bored with it already. I'm not saying, like I said in my... Let me put it like this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't hate Cena. This isn't all Cena's fault. He's done his politicking in the back, like everybody else. But the brass in the back are the one that's pushing him so hard. And instead of structuring the show better around other people, they're pushing Cena. They think he's the best bet. I don't believe this is going to work out long term, but short term they will get what they want. So like I said before in my as you can see, this upsets me. But let's put it straight. For the Royal Rumble, I said it clearly that the match between these two that are going to come up, if, and I know they're going to do this, Rock and Cena again, it won't be a bad match. We can take this to the bank. They're not going to have a terrible match. If they do, that will be one of the most shocking moments of this second part of the year 2000 to 2020. 2 decades worth is here right now, from 2000 to 2020. If they fuck this up, I will be completely shocked about it. But I doubt it will be a bad match. But really, there's no hyping for this. There's no interest. I had no caring about it. Hearing Cena say, well, I can go after a safe bet with Alberto Del Rio, or I can go after a bet that I know I'm going to lose, which is either Punk or Rock. I'm going after the hard bet that I know that I'm not going to win, but I will win anyway. What do we gain from that? Nothing. The Shield coming down makes no better either. What was the point of the Shield coming down? What was the point? The problem here is that the Shield is a bite off of Aces and Eights. But the only difference between the Shield and Aces and Eights, we have 3 main eventers instead of like 13. And the only reason I'm saying main eventers is under one situation. You got 3 people who will be presented sooner or later in the main event as a group or one of them only. That's the question when this is going to happen. One of those 3 is going to go into the main event scene briefly and then probably dropped. Or all 3 are going to go into the main event scene in some type of six-way tag team thing. It's going to happen. But in the end, that's what's going to happen. Unlike Aces and Eights where they got shit. But really, there's no focus with the Shield. They say they're after Injustice. Why don't they say they're after heel Injustice? That would have made it more understandable than just saying after Injustice. Because it's so vague, no one's interested. And at the end of Cena's segment, Cena gets his ass laid out. Sheamus gets his ass laid out, which leads into the Damien Sandow match with him in the tables match, and kicks his ass in a very short time, which was stupid. And Ryback gets his ass kicked. And I will get to Ryback in a minute, but I felt like this segment was shit. Now for Ryback, where he had to make Matt Striker laugh. He's with the primetime players. You can say Titus O'Neil between him and Darren Young are the most funniest of one of those two. He does have a personality that is funny. He does. Did this segment go great? No. At first, it was crap. Bad joke. Ryback did a bad joke. He kicks the ass of both of his competitors. The only thing that was interesting to me, personally, is when Matt Striker got his ass laid out by the Shell Shock. And it was JBL saying, yes, yes, get him, yes. That was the only thing that was reasonably interesting to me. That was it. My expectation of that thing was low. And JBL fitted it. JBL is not a bad talker. He has great energy, but that segment sucked. JBL wasn't that great, but he was the only thing that was interesting in the entire thing. Seriously, that was it. Now, the next part is the Khali karaoke. We have Khali singing Sexy Boy with Natalya hanging to his arm. Looking fine in that dress with those high heels. And if anybody hasn't seen her show, one of the shows where they show what their fetish are, she's a shoe woman. So I'm sure that's one of her more upscale type of shoe that she was wearing in the ring. Boring. Zack Ryder was completely irrelevant in this segment. This was all about Khali dancing around, sexy boy, like that. I'm not cracking on Khali. He's a big man who probably has a very thick larynx. I'm not against the guy talking. I'm not saying he's retarded either. It's just that's how his voice sounds. I have no problem with Khali. I don't. But this segment was shit. 3MB made it a little more interesting until they got their asses laid out by Khali and Zack Ryder. But was it a good? No. Not really. I was bored with it. It was a bit funny with Khali singing a little bit, but that was it. Now, the body slam match. In other words, Big Show and ADR are supposed to just see who can body slam the person first. ADR got his ass laid out. He got punched out along with Ricardo Rodriguez. And ADR got his arm duct taped to the ring. Got it duct taped the same way as Big Show did. And Big Show proceeded to beat the shit out of Ricardo Rodriguez. And then knocked out ADR. One problem though with ADR getting knocked out for a second time. He did not play it properly. What do I mean by that? If you watch the replay, and when finally Ricardo Rodriguez was finally knocked the hell out completely, and finally Big Show was sick of it and was going to knock his ass out. Once he knocks him out, you'll see ADR sideways laying on the floor, and instead of seeing his neck like this, completely laid out, looks real, he's like this. Like he had a stiff neck. Come on now. If you're going to do this segment properly, if you're going to let Big Show knock your shit out, at least play the part. ADR didn't play the part. You could see him when they zoom in on him like this. You see him like this, where you see my face. His head was like straight to the camera. Perpendicular, like this. Instead of being like this, it was like this. That really did not make it for me. It was an interesting segment to see Big Show get revenge. I'm not saying it was great, but it was interesting enough that it leads into the next storyline, probably Elimination Chamber. But if you are ADR, you're the world champion. You're supposed to sell your shit. He didn't. Nothing there. Now, the first match of the night, which was with, how can I say this? I'm not sure what to make of this, because it does lead into Elimination Chamber. We're going to have another match between Miz and Antonio Cesaro. But having Miz as the ref with Antonio and Randy Orton, great baby oil man himself. What do we have? We had a good match. These two have good chemistry. You could see them having good chemistry. This is like the third time they've had their chemistry together. They're actually not bad at all. But Miz not doing anything but calling it down the line until Antonio gets pissed off from him not counting fast enough. And then basically Antonio getting laid out by Randy Orton. And then later the Miz doing his skull crushing finale on Antonio. This leads into Elimination Chamber. But really, did it hype anything up? No. I like The Miz. I've said it before. The Miz is one of the most underrated people you can see, for the simple fact, as a reality show star, former star, I'm sorry. This man went from being considered a nothing in the business, going through Tough Enough, nothing, being a commentator at one point, to being a main eventer in the WWE, having the WWE Championship. That means something. But really, all three of these guys deserve a little better than this type of match with this type of segment. It just wasn't great. Now, shall I get to it? Oh yeah, I gotta get to it. I gotta do this one. I don't know if anyone else is going to enjoy this segment. When it came to Tensai and Brodus Clay, I said in my Royal Rumble review that these two could have potential to be a great tag team if you turn Brodus Clay heel. You could have both of them together and be the national disasters in a sense. But WWE may be throwing a little curveball in this. Maybe they're going to try and turn Tensai face. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the original lingerie pillow fight match was switched over to a dance-off, but Tensai was not told. I saw my beautiful Naomi, and if no one did not notice how big and luscious her behind is, oh my God damn it! I said it before, I love Naomi. It's hard to see her close up. They don't show Naomi close often. They do a little dance with her and Cameron that let them show it, but you don't usually always see how beautiful and voluptuous her body is. You don't always see a full close-up of how beautiful. She's the most gorgeous, beautiful woman in the face. She has a beautiful body. If she did not have that ass, she has still an incredibly beautiful body. But that ass, when they zoomed in on her behind, and I think the cameraman realized he fucked up, because he was looking at that ass a lot. Of course, when it came to the match with the Lumberjills, I'll talk about that later, he could not zoom on her often, just once. But during that little segment of the dance-off, thank you, Mr. Cameraman. I wish to give you my heart-warmed thank you. I got to see the most beautiful Naomi, the woman I'm in love with, and how beautiful that body is, that you can never be bored of. I remember the Slug Daddy pretty much saying, when it came to the women that he loved the most, in order, my Naomi was second, and the wonderful Layla was first. And I understand him. I agree with him. Layla should be his first, because I take the Naomi for myself. I would do exactly as he would. I would ruin that shit. There is no way that I would take a chance that any man would go after my beautiful Naomi. I would destroy her. I would make sure that she pop out. And this is something I'm not into. I don't want kids anymore. I got one. I never want another one. But it would be tempting to make sure that she has so many children, she'd be ruined for the rest of her life, and I would have her to myself, and we'd be sitting next to each other where she'd be impossible for any man to want. And he said, "Do you know what you did to me?" I said, "Uh-huh." That's how I felt. but the dance off itself with Tensai was actually very funny. It was funny. If you don't agree with it, it's okay. But see it in this perspective that there's a good possibility that now that they're having these two not fight one another, you heard how Clay talked to Tensai. Brodus talked to him, said, don't worry about it, man. Just do it. It's okay. The way that he was talking to him and Tensai didn't fight him, that could show they could actually have a friendship on screen. That shows that this could actually become something that could happen. That Tensai could become Brodus Clay's partner. And you could still have Naomi and Cameron there that many men love. And you could have two fucking monsters that could get the unified tag team championship. I know it's called WWE, but I'm calling it unified because you're unifying two monsters together into a unit of destruction. And probably make you laugh a little bit. You never know. This will actually be interesting to see if Tensai can pull off a face and be funny at the same time. I don't know if he'll pull it off, but if they do this, I'll be interested to watch. This will be one of the tag teams I'll be actually interested to watch. Really. Now, what do we have here next? I want to make sure I didn't forget anything. We have let me get it over with. The Divas Lumberjill, I believe it was for the Divas Championship. All the Divas they still have left out, except for I believe not Naomi, Natalya. I don't think she was there. I could be wrong, but I didn't see Natalya there. I saw almost every other diva they had. Now this pissed me off because this could have been, I'm not saying the theme, but they could have had the wonderful, the glorious Tamina and Caitlyn in the pre-show. They could have done it. WWE really fucked up with that. They could have had no, I'm not going to get angry about this. Look, it did what it needed to do. Since they're not interviewing Tamina, they barely interview Caitlyn at all. This was the only way they're going to get anything done because they had to have Cole talk for Tamina. I said it before and I say it again. People are not going to be interested if the commentators talk for the wrestlers. Let Tamina say her piece. And I noticed something about Tamina. She has no hips. She has none. She's built just like her dad. Straight. Nothing wrong with it. And I'm saying this clearly. Tamina is a very beautiful woman. She actually is very pretty. But she doesn't have any hips. Does that mean that's a bad thing? No. But you could see, counting on what clothes she wears, she has to be careful what type of clothes she wears. If she wants to be more accentuated as a woman to make men get horny over her, she's going to have to wear certain type of clothing in the ring that's going to accentuate that. Now, I don't know which ones that's good for, but the one she was wearing didn't really accentuate what bit she has. It was just a basic suit, no nonsense, which I kind of understand. That could be Tamina's actual attitude. She don't play around like that. But really, that might be more than what she needs. Now, at the end, there was no winner because in the end, the divas started fighting one another. Two divas, I wish they would actually have a feud. Really. Two divas, and I'm going to say this clearly. They had one a while ago in NXT. I believe they should try and do it now. Maybe people will be interested. Two beautiful black women. Alicia Fox and Naomi. They faced one another more than a few times on NXT. I managed to catch a couple of them. They have some chemistry there. This could actually work. But if they don't want to show it, people are not going to care. You have two gorgeous women. Alicia Fox is a gorgeous, slender woman. And you got, as I already said, the Naomi. Now, what we have here next is Wade Barrett and Bo Dallas. Wade Barrett can choose anybody he wants. And he chooses Bo Dallas. It was a short match. Bo Dallas wins. The only purpose of this is to try and hype up a possible feud, which it will be, for Wade. This is to try and get someone from NXT over. Will it last long? Probably not. Maybe he'll make it to Elimination Chamber and be over. I doubt Dallas is going to win at all the IC Championship. They ain't going to do it. If they do, I'll be shocked. But at least it'll be something for Wade to do. And then giving a newcomer a shot, which I'm fine with. Now, the Rock segment. Rock was flat. I'm just going to say it clearly. Rock was just plain flat. I was not excited. I was not interested. I don't hate The Rock, but I believe now, beforehand, he always shot from the hip. He was told, okay, Rock, we want you to basically talk about this. Ad-lib. And that's what he did. Now I think they're giving him actual material to work from. And I don't know if he's interested in it or not, but he was flat as a damn post. There was nothing there. And CM Punk, who was in the middle, in the beginning of the show, which I'll get to in a few minutes, he didn't do that badly. But you know what? Flat completely. And CM Punk, if he tried to save it or not, could not do it. It hypes up into Elimination Chamber, but I'm not interested. Because, at least in this segment, it was not interesting to me. I was bored out of my mind. The segment after that was interesting because we get to see Chris. And Chris now got a nice tat on his arm. Oh, great. I am not answering that phone. I am not doing that again. But anyway, if you hear it, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I'm not cutting this video off. But I'm saying this. It stopped. When it comes down to it, when it came to Chris Jericho, Chris, I am happy he's back. I would have liked to see him go up against The Rock, like I said in my Royal Rumble review. But you know what? He still does a great job. And he's, in a sense, with Dolph. The same thing with Rock and with Punk. You have pretty much Jericho here. He's here. Our wonderful Ziggy. Brought up to here, hopefully one day. He's here. He came up by this much. Jericho is forcing Dolph Ziggler to talk. Dolph does not talk that great. He can talk, but not that great. This was purposely meant to help him begin to work on his mic skills. And then the, what was it called? The Strange Bedfellow match with Hell No. Hell No kicks their ass, but kicks the ass of Dolph Ziggler. And Jericho gets away with it unscathed. Continues a feud between them, which I'm not too upset about. I'm not. But I do have a feeling that that briefcase is going to be contested. And it's not going to be for, you know, Jericho being kicked out again. I believe that Jericho may get that, you know, may get it. That's just me. Now, finally, I'm going to say this right now. The McMahon and Heyman segment. Now, I said earlier when it came to CM Punk in this segment, it was okay. It was well enough done that I was not bored with it. When McMahon came out and said to Paul Heyman, we're going to have our little talk at the end of the night. They do. The video was shown of Heyman basically having beef mode. Brad Maddox get his ass knocked down by the Shield. Do I agree that Brad Maddox needed to get his ass kicked? No. I'd rather see Brad Maddox kick the ass of the Shield. I agree with the Off the Rope show. Brad Maddox should get over on somebody, and it should be a group that he's with. He should kick their asses, but not in the physical sense. He should be their leader. Yes, I say let the Maddox be the leader of the Shield. I say that's just a fake thing that was for Paul Heyman and for the camera. Say that Brad Maddox told them to kick my ass. We want to make sure people think that I'm a nobody. So when we finally do it, I will show to be the true leader of the Shield. I am the Maddox, the beef mode, the leader of the Shield, and I'll tell them where the hell to go and what to do. That's what I'm thinking. But at the end of it, when it looks like Heyman's about to get his ass kicked out, we get a shock. I was surprised as hell. I'm going, what the fuck? We got Brock Lesnar coming back, who said he quit. Gets into the ring and F5s Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Now, does this mean he's going after Triple H? You never know. I'm hoping he'll go after The Undertaker. That'll be a much more interesting match than Triple H. You would make sense to put Triple H, but I'd rather see The Undertaker take his ass on and kick his ass. So, what do I rate this? C+. This was not a great show at all. There were some funny ass moments, and especially when it came to Farouk looking at the dance-off between Tensai and Brodus Clay. Damn! That was my favorite part of the entire show. But this show was a C+. It was not really that great, honestly. It wasn't. Now, I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Subscribe and comment to my channel. I will be getting soon another debate of the week out. I'm not sure who it's going to be about, but I'm sure you're going to like it. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.